Miss Joette, good morning. Good morning. I believe you sent me that article that I did read, and I did a video about it this morning, and I'm going to talk about it on this show. Terrell W. in the building. Ray Patterson, what's up, man? Flawless Mentality Elevation, hosted by Dr. Mark. What's good? All things. Denali Smith in the building. Of course, the great Ray Patterson. Eon BS, what up, man? David Howard, good morning, sir. Mr. LeGrew, what's going on, man? Oh, this is going to be a hot one, man, this morning. Hey, good morning, to the beautiful Barbara D. Good morning. I am so sorry to have to do this video today, this live stream, and talk about what I'm talking about. Because, you know, if there was ever anything that I wish I had been wrong about, it would be what I'm going to talk about today. But I'm not wrong about it. So I'm going to talk about it. And I am also going to tell you, because I'm a bit of an asshole, that I told you guys so. I told you guys so. You guys, there was an article that got released let me say first. There was a video that came out from Sean Vitale yesterday. Shout out to Sean Vitale. Sean Vitale did a video that I watched. It was like a 30-minute video. I commented on it. I did a reaction video to it, but I made sure that I complimented Sean Vitale on the work that he did. I think that he did a fantastic job on his video. I thought that he was very fair. I thought that he was very balanced, and that he represented. I think that he really did a terrific job of talking about the subject. And not only that, I think that Sean Vitale was very brave for what Sean Vitale did, because Sean Vitale is he's a journalist, and to do the type of piece that he did really does display a lot of bravery, because the things that he talked about are very dangerous things, because he's talking about very dangerous people that, you know, do very bad things, or accused, I should say, accused of doing very bad things. And we're going to get to that in detail. What's up, Andy Gill? And we're going to get to that in detail in this video, and we're going to treat it like it's a serious subject. I'm not going to tolerate people that want to act like people are making things up that are in major newspapers. This is the second time that I've done a live stream and a video about an article that came out about Turki al-Sheikh. This article is not about Turki al-Sheikh. This article is related. This article is related to a lawsuit that is being adjudicated, and it is the families of the 9/11 victims are suing Saudi Arabia. And right now, the Saudi Arabian government has filed a motion to dismiss the lawsuit that was brought by the families of the 9/11 victims. Now, if you're not familiar with that is, in the United States, and I'd be very, very surprised if you guys don't know what I'm talking about. Muhammad Norman, you're going to have to be a little bit patient, man. And I'm going to tell you what I'm talking about. I'm not just going to tell you what I'm going to talk about. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. I'm just waiting for about 200 people to come in. You know what I mean? I'm waiting for about 200 people to come in, because we're talking about corruption at the highest level, of boxing. Oh, shit. Hold on one second. I got to give my wife her phone. Yeah, hey, thank you, Muhammad Norman. I'm going to get to it in a second. Thank you. And babe, yeah, I got an apple now, so I don't know. All right, y'all. We double said we here, bro. That's what's up. Vlad's dad said I told you. He said shit. Well, shit. We already know he fixing fights. Leonard, no, it's way. Look, watch this shit. Look, man. No, I did tell you though. Man. So we're gonna wait for like 200 people, man. We'll wait for about 200 people. Because I'm not talking about Ryan today. I can't support that fight. Like, as much as I'd like to, bro, I can't support that fight. I'm thinking I'm gonna buy it because I'm gonna watch it, but I don't think I'm gonna talk a lot about it today. It's because this situation is like, man, it's crazy. It's really crazy. What's up, Troy Hutch? What up, Denali Smith? What up, man? How you feeling, brother? The Cardenas in the building. What up, man? Take your time, bro. Yeah, for sure. I'm gonna wait. Yeah, wait a little bit for people. If it gets worse than what they need to get Turkey to fight, oh, it's terrible, bro. Let me tell you something. Look, in my mind, it's terrible. The way that I'm looking at it, it's terrible. And I'm just telling you, this is the way that I'm looking at it. It's terrible. It's like terrible, man. It took a turn. This took a turn for me. Barbara D said the U.S. shouldn't let the Saudis get away with no compensation for what transpired. Man, look, Barbara D, I'm going to pull up the article. And tell you what I'm talking about while we wait for people to come on. I mean, for people to come in. And thank you for, hey, Mom, Andy Gill, thank you for the 99 cent, bro. Appreciate you. I didn't put a target up there today because sometimes I feel bad about taking donations for certain topics, but I mean, I appreciate it. Then when I watched Sean's video, I was in complete shock and disgusted. Yeah. I mean, it's amazing. And you have people, let me get to the conclusion of this. Let me get to the conclusion of this before we have the topic. Basically, Turki al-Sheikh works for the military of Saudi Arabia. And it was maybe 2 weeks ago, I found out that, or in The Athletic. Remember when that article came out from The Athletic? The article in The Athletic said that Turki al-Sheikh was seen with somebody that was suspected to be a spy in the United States. That was in an article by The Athletic. And the reason that the person was in is what he's suspected of doing was bribing Twitter officials or Twitter employees to give him access to people's personal data. That's very important, man, because of what Turki al-Sheikh's reputation is for in Saudi Arabia. Now, we'll get into that, but what's come out is that the families of 9/11 got more information from the FBI. The FBI had information that they did not include in the original report in 2005. I think it was around 2005, when their investigation of what happened at during 9/11. So in that, there was a guy that came up where in the report it said, we don't think that he had anything to do with it. But later, when more information came out, because the families of the 9/11 victims, because the families of the 9/11 victims had, continued to press for more information, and they found a box of information that the FBI had about this guy, and basically found videotapes on him, what he said, the relationships he had with other people who were actually, on the planes. So basically, they found evidence that this guy who has a direct connection to the Saudi royal family, or through Saudi intelligence agencies was spying in the United States and helped the attackers. Basically gave them money, gave them a place to live, was having meetings in the house where the hijackers lived. The suspected hijackers lived. So you got to understand what kind of guys you're dealing with. The guy that they're talking about, that they're saying is basically was supposed to be connected to Osama bin Laden. But Osama bin Laden is Saudi Arabian. And guess this. The reason that Osama bin Laden was influential is because of his relationship with the Saudi royal family. Turki al-Sheikh's influence comes from the same influence that Osama bin Laden had. The bin Laden family was close to the royal family, and the al-Sheikhs are close to the Saudi royal family. So these dudes are playing. You guys are fucking around with some very, very, very serious stuff. Because that's one that you have to think. This is, in one situation, they're looking at somebody that's a spy that set up something that was a physical attack. Over here, you have an article where they talk about Turki al-Sheikh walking around with somebody that's looking for actual information on U.S. citizens. One guy was determined to be a spy. The other guy is suspected to be a spy. You got guys that are suspected of being spies for the same people that are suspected of being involved with 9/11. And you guys don't think that people are following you? I mean, for real. Like, I want to know how stupid you guys possibly can be. I just want to know how first of all, how bad and risky does money have to be before you determine that no, I don't think that I want to do that. You think that is the ultimate reason to say all money ain't good money. Hold on one second. Andy Gill said, hey, did you see the video I sent you on IG on Bud? No, I didn't, Andy Gill. I'll check it out, though. My bad. No, I haven't checked it out. Hey, then people need to get every dollar, especially since there is a record of Osama being a past CIA informant. Look, man, I'm just telling you. Thank you, Alicia Craig. Thank you so much. All I'm telling you is the optics are terrible. For anybody that has common sense, that optic is terrible. If you knew that you're dealing with people that literally have spies with them that are suspected spies by the FBI, right? And the same people are connected to suspected spies for the biggest terrorist attack in the history of the United States, and you don't think that people are going to look at you like, are you nuts? Like, they're going to look at you like, okay, we're following you around. And I just wanted to tell you, man, when you guys told me that I was crazy when I was telling you that there was a major investigation going on, bro, there is no more major investigation than people connected with what happened in September 11th, 2001. You're not going to find a hotter topic where there's more people in an intelligence agency that have their eye on something than people that are even remotely connected to that. And you guys are walking around holding hands with somebody that's 2 degrees away from Osama bin Laden. Like, I just want to know if you're stupid. I'm sorry, y'all, and I'll open the lines. My question is, say, you know, scammers and ninjas don't have common sense. They were running businesses in Newark, New Jersey. Man, they were in San Diego too. They were running operations out of San Diego too, and out of DC, and out of Virginia, man. For now, they don't care because the Saudis are protected from prosecution by our government. Yeah, but our citizens are not, and that shit is treason. Okay? Fahim Sator, let me tell you what you get for giving information to a spy. I do believe that's called treason. Last time I checked. Now, I've got to tell you, it's been a long time since I looked up and thought about the subject. because I never do anything close to what you call treason. However, you better believe if they actually find out that you have something to do with somebody like that, man, you're tripping, bro. And they're putting on boxing events all over the place and bringing all kind of people in the country. Dude, you better listen. You better read that newspaper article, man, about what those guys did. What they did was they were just around taking pictures of stuff. That's what they did. You know what the suspected guy, why they said they suspect him is because he was taking pictures, and the pictures were of certain monuments and certain things in DC where it's like, hold on, man, they were casing DC. They may have put themselves in the picture and were like, hi, in the picture, but you look at what's behind them. They're basically laying out the layout of the place in pictures. So you're basically taking pictures with the guy? Like, if you guys have any common sense, you will read that article, bro, and I'm going to read it, man. I think I may read it. I've got it right here, just in case somebody want to jump from Turkey Al-Sheikh's camp, want to jump up here and call me a liar. Man, you dudes are in the crosshairs of the investigation of 9/11. Like, and you guys are dealing with these people? They're in the every one of these dudes have got to be in the crosshairs of that investigation. Every single solitary one of them. Fanan, do you think they having a boxing match in downtown New York not suspect? Look, watch, bro. Anybody, if I had, let me tell you something. Reading that article, this is just me. Just me. Just me. I'm not telling you to do it. I'm not advocating for it. I'm just telling you. If I had an invite to that fight today in Times Square, I would not go. I would go home and I would buy that shit on pay-per-view. I would buy that on pay-per-view, man. I'm not walking around with those dudes, man. Ain't no way. Ain't no way I'm taking pictures with these guys. If you guys go to that fight and anybody puts a camera on you, you should immediately walk out that place. I'm just telling you on the G code, okay? Let me give you a G code piece of advice. An OG piece of advice. That shit is going to be hot as a fucking firecracker. Let me tell you, you're in the middle of Times Square with a Saudi military official who was suspected of running around with a spy. And there's information that the FBI released saying that the Saudi royal family, connections to the Saudi royal family exist, or Saudi royal intelligence. I make sure I say it right. And you can look the article for yourself and make sure that you read it for yourself. Don't trust me. Read the article. If I was you, I would stay so far away from that fight. I would not buy popcorn within 5 blocks of that pop. I would not buy popcorn 5 blocks away from that fight. That fight is going to have so many snitches in that mug, bro, for real. If snitches were switches, that shit would explode in fire. I'm telling you. Ain't no way. Hey, Barbara D. Oh, that's what you're building a boxing gym. Congratulations, man. Phoenix the Assassin. It may be why they got new NYPD versus firefighter on the card. Man, let me tell you something. That shit is hot, man. That is hot, bro. I mean, all I'm just trying to tell you, bro, that's the hottest shit I've ever seen in my life. That's an event you better not be doing with them. Bro, do not take their money. I'm telling you, that's my personal opinion. I'm not trying to get in the middle of anybody's business. I'm not trying to tell you that anybody's a bad person. I'm just saying that block is going to be so hot, bro. For real. It is going to have everybody in that place that is in that card is going to be on every fucking body's camera, on everybody's who is this list. If you take your ass up in there, I'm telling you, because it's invite only. And since it's invite only, you have to be somebody connected to him because he has to approve the invites. If he doesn't want you in there, you're not getting in there. Boxing Scene was not allowed to get into something. Boxing Scene, because they put articles out that weren't complimentary of Turkey Al Sheikh. My understanding is from Sean Vitale's video is that Boxing Scene wasn't allowed to cover a certain card. Bro, you're not going to get in that place unless you're down with Turkey Al Sheikh, man. And if you're down with Turkey Al Sheikh, bro, from somebody that is, man, I like to consider myself to be somebody that is somewhat astute on matters like this. I would tell you that you're no felt full well. You're either at that, if you see somebody in that mug, you better be careful that ain't a spy, and you better be careful that ain't a snitch. That's all I'm saying about the subject. Because I ain't trying to condemn nothing. I don't know who did what as far as 9/11 and all that goes. I don't know who did that. You know what I mean? I don't know whether that dude was a spy. I don't know if the Saudi royal family have anything to do with it or not. I don't know. But I know that those intelligence agencies do play percentages. And if they are looking for something hot, they're going to look where the fire is. And your ass is over there in the fire, nigga. You standing up in the middle of that flame, acting like you stupid, taking all kind of extra money from people that you know. Man, anybody that can give $500 a day away for months on end with nothing in return, and you dummies just take the money and, oh, I'll take the money and ask questions later. How about you say, how much are you paying me for this? No, that's way above market rate. Don't you think? You paying me a 7-figure salary for a YouTube channel? Let me tell you something. If you bozos in, and I'm telling you, a little birdie said this to me. It's a little psychic birdie. It was not somebody didn't tell me this. It's just a thought that passed through my head. And sometimes you go with hunches. And I'm telling you guys right now, bro. I'm telling you right now. Y'all better not have done it. Y'all better not have done it. Did you see Bud in a confrontation with a female fan? Hold on. But IG, I know that's what you sent me. Hold on. Man, I hate this, man. I'm going to get some. Please don't ruin my day. Oh, hold on a second. Oh, man, thank you. Ooh-wee. Hold on one second. You ever get a message from somebody that's very, very important to your life, and it's like, man, I hope they ain't mad. What up to my nigga Drew Titan in the mug? Chilling with Bill Haney at a restaurant, bro. Gotta love it. Hold on one second, man. With them roses. Gil. Hold on. Okay, here's Gil.
Oh, wow.
Woo! Wow, bro. Hey, what up, man? Hey, Cobra Sports Entertainment. So what up, Noop? I see you swimming. What up, brother? How you feeling, man? Yeah, man, I'm swimming, man. Them golden shores. You know what I'm talking about? I'm trying to head for them golden shores. This Negro out here threatening women. Bud Crawford threatening women, bro. If dog, he's done, bro. Bud Crawford is out here threatening women, dog. Threatening women. Get your ass out of here before you get smacked. BITH. Somebody get out of here some before somebody smack you. BITH. Bud, you're in a lot of trouble, dog. All things, what up, man? Yes, sir. Here's a link for you. I think I do. I have a link. Hold on a second, man. Let me get that link for you, man. Hold on. I'm sorry, man. Here you go, Kamal. There you go. Yeah, man. So look, bro. If I would, first of all, come on, bud. You out here threatening women, huh? Dog, no respect for you, bro, for that. No respect, bro. See, dog, shady ass character, nigga. Shady ass character, bro. That's some shady shit right there. What up, Kamal the Great?
Well, it's always a pleasure to be in front and have share a panel with the legendary Fanon International Boxing. I always
Thank
appreciate
you,
the
brother.
opportunity.
Always, man. What's on your mind, sir?
And I know I misspeak sometimes, or I come across as maybe flippant or something. And because of your bad experiences with grifters that have used your platform to gain their own and to become, I'm not mentioning names.
Yes,
I know
sir.
that you have to deal with that. It's not a fear, but that reality.
Yes,
Um,
sir.
but just know that I'm not. I don't do that.
I
So
know, never, brother. Because seriously, man, I always think about stealing your intellectual property on my channel
steal
and
it.
put little shorts out.
You have my permission. Steal it.
Okay, cool. So I'll put the little Kamal short. When you start cooking, I'm gonna put a Kamal cook in, and that way if they're seriously, man, if they're like 3 minutes, if you time them to under 3 minutes, I will mark the minute down. I will cut them shits out and put them shits in a 3-minute short.
Okay, great. Yeah, whatever you feel, man. You have full intellectual property rights on my content on your channel. So I don't. It's cool.
Thank you, brother.
I do want to go to this Saudi Arabia piece because I'm a history and political science nut. So that
You did read
loss,
it. You read it?
I didn't read the article, so let me just start with that. So I can't
Okay.
disagree with what you're saying, but I did watch your video, kind of summarizing the Sean Vattel piece. I will
Yeah.
say this: the lawsuit against members of the Saudi royal family is not new. That's been going on since 9/11. Um, there were elements of the Saudi royal family that were implicated in 9/11. But you have to remember the Saudi royal family is like thousands of different people because over there in Muslim countries, you can marry as many wives as you can, So there are so many different people in that royal family that some of them were jihadist supporters, some of them were Western, some of them were more traditional. And so victims of 9/11 have been going after the Saudi royal family. They've largely been unsuccessful. Why? Because America and Saudi Arabia, almost since its inception, have had a very close ties, number one. Number two, there was and I'm not Muslim, I come from a Christian background, but my grandfather was from Istanbul, served in the army during the 9/11 period in global war on terrorism, deployed and visited numerous Middle Eastern countries. Um, After 9/11, where
Real
remember,
quick,
yeah,
Fahim just wanted to say, only 4 wives at one time. He just wanted to say that.
okay.
So
Well,
go
I
ahead.
know folks in Nigeria and other places that have more than four wives. No, I'm not disrespecting anybody's religion. I'm just saying
Right. I
that
got you, brother. I got you.
it's like the old school Mormons to join the United States. Utah had to do away with polygamy, but there's still Mormons who don't abide by that, and they have tons of wives. Remember, the FBI was chasing some guy down in Utah and Arizona a few years ago. I don't know if you remember that, Fanon.
Yeah,
But
I know about the Mormons, man.
I digress. So
Yeah, I look up to them, man. If I could afford it. Go ahead, man.
after 9/11, there were members of the Saudi royal family who were in America who the government got together and helped them evacuate. So there was no blowback or racism or xenophobia directed against them. Even members of Osama bin Laden's family are very pro-American because he's got a ton of different people. Like his sister's a very pro-American, anti-jihadist. One of his sisters, I should say,
Right. Hey, let
anti-jihadist
me give you a
person.
little. Let me give you a little background, just real
Yes.
fast. Okay, so the information that came out was the following.
Okay.
And there's a motion in front of the court that was filed by the Saudi royal family to dismiss the lawsuit from the 9/11 family. And in that decision, there was more information that came out about the investigation into 9/11. And it involved a specific person whose name I'll let you watch. Sean Patel. He did a great job. It's a longer piece about it, and I don't want to steal his content. I just commented on it because really he did such a good job. But there's a guy, and he originally they said he didn't have any connection, but now they have more of the information that the FBI didn't release to that commission, and it included meetings specifically with this guy who was a Saudi Arabian national and was over here on a school visa, but they don't believe he was actually in school because they said, look, he never went to class and he was a middle-aged guy and he was throwing he threw house parties or meetings in the house that the hijackers lived in. And he was also somebody who was spreading money around from Saudi Arabia in the community in San Diego. And then he also went out to Washington, D.C. and took a bunch of pictures of the Capitol and different monuments. And they said originally that they just thought Saudi Arabia said, no, that's just a coincidence. He was just there, sightseeing. And they're like, no, we don't believe it was sightseeing because of the pictures where he was when he took it. The story's right here. The story's right here, bro. Come on, real McKay, man. I'm not trying to hear no shit about them not having any credibility, man. Beat it, because this is a criticism of the FBI, because the FBI did not release the information to the commission that originally reviewed the evidence into 9/11.
The 9/11 commission. Yep. The report. They released a big report.
9/11 report. So this is information that's come out because of this lawsuit that connects Saudi Arabian intelligence, because this guy is a Saudi Arabian intelligence officer is what they're saying. And he was a Saudi Arabian intelligence asset. So he was here on a basically a false pretense as a student, and he provided the infrastructure for at least 2 of the hijackers. So what they're saying is there's actually now a money trail from the Saudi Arabian military straight to 2 of the hijackers. So it's absolutely huge. Is not whether or not the lawsuit is going to get dismissed or not. It's the fact that more information from the FBI has been released, and these are legitimate FBI files that they have access to. And they said that they included transcripts of the FBI's original interview with the people. It also included the videotapes that they had of the interviews, the full interviews of them with all of the information in it that they didn't originally give to the commission. So it just makes the subject very, very hot, is my argument.
Okay, send that to me. I can't dispute it.
It's right here. I'm going to send it to you right now.
You have my email. Email it to me. I will not. I can't necessarily go against anything because I haven't read the article. But I'm just saying, from my perspective, we know 15 of the 19 hijackers were from Saudi Arabia, and then the thing you're talking about, Mohammed bin Salman, and you're great to bring him up. He actually started sidelining, jailing, and killing a lot of these jihadist clerics, the radicals. And I don't want to get too much in the weed. I'm just going to in shortly, because this is not what your show's about. But one reason why America has always been close with Saudi Arabia is because of geopolitical interests and, of course, economic interests. But Salman, we told the Saudis after 9/11, you guys got to get rid of these clerics that are radical and these other formulas. And Mohammed bin Salman did that. And he had everybody meet in the Ritz-Carlton in Saudi Arabia and had them pay the taxes. Like, he put everybody, all the rich people in Saudi Arabia. And so, I mean, since then, one reason why MBS is so popular is because he's making deals, making Saudi Arabia real popular, and he's modernizing the country with green energy and stuff like that. So anybody close to him, Trump just announced he's going to do a big weapons deal for $100 billion with Saudi Arabia. Is I don't think is going to be investigated thoroughly, because the overarching theme is MBS cleaned up Saudi Arabia, modernized it, got rid of the jihadist fundraisers. And so I just wanted to give you that perspective from a higher level. I will read the article, Fanon, because I'm not entirely informed to conversate on it. But that was just my point, that that Turkey being associated with MBS is actually a very good thing. And they've been trying to, this 9/11 families have been trying to go after Saudi Arabia for a while. But again, it's a royal family that's tens of thousands of people in the royal family. Yes, there's some bad apples. But when MBS came to power, he really took over the family and got rid of those bad actors. Now he seeks peace in the region. So he's changed the country around. That was my whole point. With that, I'm out for on. I don't want to drag you into politics and I don't want to bore
No,
your
no worries. You're
listeners.
good, brother. I appreciate always appreciate your perspective, Kamal. You have a
Thank you.
wonderful
You have a
day.
good day. I'll listen.
Yes, sir. Bye. Hey, the real big baby, what up? I see you, Phoenix. The real big baby, how can I help you, man?
Yo, shout out to you, my brother. Blessings to you and the family. I swear, last time you helped me out a lot, gave me your professional input about the fights, made me money on the bets. Bro, I'm 22 years old right now. I ain't gonna lie. I'm in New York. I seen you go live in the morning, the first one. And bro, I was gonna try to pull up. I know it's private. I was gonna try to, even when you said the 5 blocks, not even go popcorn. After hearing all that shit, I'm like, fuck that nigga. I'm staying home, bro. I don't want. But I was gonna ask you, for the bets, bro. You think I'm crazy for taking, Ryan Garcia by decision, and Teofimo against Barboza? I'm not sure. I think decision, but I know he never been stopped or nothing. But I could Devin even been off for a year or two. I'm not sure about that. Like I know they're both gonna win, but I'm scared to put the decision because they might really get a stoppage, even like a referee stoppage or some shit.
Uh-huh.
And Martin Bacole versus the Jogba dude, and those are my
Ife.
questions. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
What do you
Hey.
like?
Okay, sure. Oh, I'll start with the Ife Ajabe because and Martin Bacoli. I wouldn't bet on that fight because Martin Bacoli's a dive artist. So I wouldn't know. I would just keep my money in my pocket with him if you can.
All right,
Because
yeah,
I don't
okay.
trust him as far as what I don't trust which Martin Bacoli's gonna show up. Is he gonna be the one that's gonna show up and fight? More than likely, I would say Martin Bacoli's gonna show up and fight and beat Ife. So I agree with Pull Out Bandit. I think I would take Bacoli over Ife because of the politics and because I think Bacole is probably a better fighter. He can fight at a very high level. Who was the other one? Tio and Barboza. Phoenix the Assassin says go with. I think Phoenix the Assassin said no. I don't know what few Phoenix said, but I would say Barboza is a good bet. But it's an iffy situation, man. It depends on the odds you get. And then as far as Devin and Jose Ramirez, I would take Devin by decision. And if and on Ryan, I don't think that's a bad bet to take it by decision. I don't think that's a bad bet.
The
But
decision,
if
I
I
just, not to cut you off, it's
yes,
like
sir.
plus 500 for the decision.
For
So
who?
they for the Ryan to go to the distance and win. Like they think it's not gonna happen at all. So the values like for the least amount of money to make the most
Oh
amount.
yeah. I mean, I would take him by this. Then yeah, I would take that. I would put something on that 500 for a decision because there's a good chance that could happen. You know what I mean? But I said, yeah, like Pull Out Bandit said, all the A sides going to win today. That's what I would think. But all right,
Yeah.
man. Thanks, real baby. Appreciate you,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah. My name's Sean, 22 from Brooklyn, New York. Fanon, I appreciate you.
Yes,
Blessings to you
sir.
and the family for real, bro. I love your work and everything.
Thank you, bro.
Thank you for having me on, my brother.
Hey, man, I ask you a question. You Puerto Rican,
Not African and Russian. My dad's from
African, and
Ghana.
Russian?
Yeah, the
That's a
melting
unique mix.
pot, New York, bro. The melting
Yeah,
pot.
hey,
Everybody, we got
I'm,
everybody.
that's what's up. I'm a big fan of Putin, so I rock with the Russian side too. All right, man.
See you,
Get
my
back,
brother.
bro.
Good talking to you.
Yes, sir, for sure, for sure. What's on your mind, Phoenix?
Well, not much, man. How you doing today?
Man, I'm good, brother. How are you?
Doing pretty well, doing pretty well. It's a feel good Friday, so you know what's up. Say FA a jog button, Bacole. I'm gonna have to go with a Jogba, man, because I'm Nigerian. Got to follow and support my fellow countrymen. So, there's that. I know he more agile on his feet than Bacole. So if he could stay on the outside and avoid those sneaky hands, because Bacole's hands, he got some sneaky quickness behind his punches, and because he's not really agile on his feet, he positioned his stance so that he can get a little more range on him. That's why he put more weight on his front foot instead of his back foot, so that way he can kind of make up for not having fast feet to step in with his punches. So that's one of the things that's kind of interesting about him. Like he know what he's doing, and he fight according to his physique and his gas tank. So that's one tricky fight. I think if Jogba can go ahead and avoid getting caught, stay on the outside and try to counter him and drop him, that'd probably be his best bet. Uh, Going with Tiafimo and Barboza. And I don't think that fight's gonna end by knockout because Tio's power ain't really seemed like it carried up to 140. Like he's still hurting people, but I don't see him knocking people out. So I could see him winning by decision. Barboza only got like a 34% knockout rate. So I wouldn't expect him to get a stoppage unless it's by body punches or, somehow a cut open up and, the fight can't continue. So I would go ahead and go with Tio by decision on that. Barboza, was it Barboza? I think it was Barboza that looked a little funny at the weigh-in though. So maybe body shots could do him in. But a safe bet, I would say Tio by decision on that. We got Ramirez and Devin Haney. I mean, like, shoot, logic says Devin, but at the same time, you got them things to worry about. Like, well, where's his confidence level at? Is he going to be trying to do too much with the new things he picked up in camp from Shane Mosley? Being a year out of the ring, sparring and training and shit is different from having an actual fight. And being out for a year, working on new things, having your confidence diminished, and all that. I don't know how that works for him, especially since Ramirez still been staying active. But it's it's gonna be luck of the draw. I think logically Devin should win by decision. I can't see either one of them hurting each other, so I wouldn't expect that to end in knockout. Even with what they're saying about Shane Mosley helping Devin work on his punching power, nah, I think that's just gonna go to decision. Oh, you see Devin turned the scale off during the weigh-in.
Turn the scale off.
Yeah,
No, I didn't see that, man. I gotta watch it, man. They be
I
doing
sent you the
crazy.
video on IG, bro.
Yeah, honestly, man, I got up this morning tripping on that Sean Patel video, but man,
Yeah.
he looked big.
Hey, well, that's the thing. Like when you see people like that, they step on the scale and they look normal. That's how you know they at their natural weight. His cheeks wasn't sunken in. He wasn't looking like a mummy. But yeah, 'cause they had the actual weigh. They always have the actual weigh-ins, in the morning before they do that ceremonial one. But they had that dude who came in with his phone, like took a picture of Ramirez weight, and they announced it. But then, when Devin was about to walk off or walk on, he reached down, turned the scale off, and then like they were like laughing, like, "Hey man, why you do that for?" So yeah, they. So well, you ain't want people to know you rehydrated already? Like, what's going
Yeah,
on? Exactly. But yeah, I thought that shit was funny. But then we got Rolly and Ryan. Rolly and Ryan, I'm not expecting that one to go the distance. And like I said, for as long as that fight lasts, it's gonna look more competitive than people is expecting it to. Because Rolly and Ryan are both better than people think they are. Like I said, Rolly is just awkward and don't look, clean and polished. So people assume that because of that, he's a bad boxer. And like I said, it's because people confuse how smooth and coordinated a person looks for having skill and technical ability, and that ain't the case. So looking at that fight, it's gonna be high speed chess. I wouldn't be surprised if it looks like the second half of Tank versus Lamont Roach, or even something similar to Canelo and Floyd because they've sparred each other multiple times. They know each other. They kind of got a little bit of a rivalry. Both of them have improved since the amateurs. So, and since they had sparred like what is it, 8, 10 years ago, something like that. So, um, like I said, I think it's going to come down to whoever lands that big shot first. Ryan definitely has the advantage as far as speed. The Rolly does have some pretty decent timing, and I think that's what Rolly's best bet is going to be is to try to go ahead and time Ryan with something, and of course, watch out for that left hook. But Ryan does have power in both hands. His straight is pretty good too. So we'll see. But I think that fight, like I said, is going to surprise people, and people going to be like, "Oh, well, shit, Rolly actually got something." And then they're going to be like, "Man, Rolly's really improved." It's like, nah, he ain't improved. Y'all just ain't been paying attention. But that's the way I'm looking at these fights. So yeah, man, I'm looking forward to them. Looking forward to them. You know, it's looking like it's about to rain here. Hope it rains in New York, maybe a little. I don't know, but we'll see when it gets to that time.
Fahim's the tour. Oh, hey, Alicia Craig said healthiest I've seen Devin for a fight. Yeah, because he's weighing 100 because he weighs 175 pounds. Some shit
I
like
know.
that. You know what I mean?
No
Because he
lie.
weighs
I agree.
175.
Yeah, well, good for him. Good for him. He finally settled in.
Yeah, man. We'll see how he
All
does
right,
it up.
man.
We'll see. But all right, bro. Thank you, man. Appreciate you, man.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Take it easy.
All right, get back, man. Peace. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. Sorry about that. I'm not sorry about that. Let me get over here. I changed screens and didn't see the conversation. Rolly is piping hot garbage. Uh, hey, man, look, I may have to agree with you on Rolly, man. I may have to agree with you on Rolly. I personally do not see how in the world this fight is going to be. I don't see how that's going to be competitive. I got him by knockout. I got Ryan by knockout. And I got to tell you, I am going to watch this fight. I am. Didn't Rolly? Yeah, Rolly didn't. Yes, Rolly got clipped up by a senior citizen. For sure he did. What time is the fight? Hold on, let me see. Fatal Fury fight card. $6 p.m. Eastern is where it starts. Man, I'm sorry I'm not in the mood to talk boxing, man. That shit's just weird to me, man. 6:30 main event is going to be like 10:15. So I would start watching it around 8, I think. I think 8 is a safe bet to watch the TO. Creole the Traveler says Devin starts at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Man, that's crazy. Look, man, for real though, I'm going to get off this video. I'm not going to talk too long today because I'm going to take the rest of the day off, honestly. And I appreciate the people that supported the chat. I really do. Why these dudes bragging about another man taking them to dinner is beyond me. They must be courted. They must like being courted. Let me tell you something, man. Windy City Assassin. You'd be amazed at how cheap people can be bought. The United Arab Emirates is about to invest $2 billion in Trump's cryptocurrency. Oh, okay, then they may be able to throw the. You think $2 billion in cryptocurrency is going to get them to turn over the Ali Act? Man, let me tell you something, bro. Man, if Donald Trump tries in the middle of everything he's doing, talking about national politics and having tariffs and stuff to protect American businesses, if he sells out to Saudi Arabia, and I completely understand what Kamal's saying. I know that there's a long relationship between the United States and Saudi Arabia, and there is respect that you pay to allies, and you pay respect to your what do you call it? To the national interests of your allies. And if Saudi Arabia is an American ally, I understand that. I can also understand that there's a lot of people in the Saudi royal family. I can understand that as well. I'm telling you though, look, why in the world would you do business with these people? I mean, I could talk about what Turkey al-Sheikh has done from a business perspective all day and tell you that it's very autocratic. The fact that he's got a guy walking around, man, I don't even want to talk about it, man. Like, for real, I'm that disgusted. I'm really that disgusted that you got people like, for now, when are you going to be back on the MH Blackwell channel? I'm going to be back on the MH Blackwell channel very soon. The Alpha Boys about to hand down that indictment. Watch and see. I'm just telling you, man, look, to me, it's dirty business. Everything about that guy smells like dirty business to me. Everything about Turkey Al-Sheikh smells dirty to me. That's as close as I can, that's as short as I can summarize it. Everything about the guy seems suspect to me. Everything about the guy. Everything about the guy. Especially the way that I'm treated by these people, by these guys on the internet, and the amount of money these guys are getting paid to take shots at me. Bro, I'm sorry. You might call me a conspiracy theorist, but I have almost 200,000 legitimate followers. I have a legitimate voice as far as boxing fans go. And I'm telling you, bro, I feel targeted. I feel as if I was targeted by these guys. I listened to Sean Vitale's video, and I respect Sean Vitale, I really did like his work, but I think he got things out of order. What he said was that the first people to try to monopolize boxing was the PBC. First of all, I absolutely disagree with that. They did not. They tried to create a structure for themselves where they could put on fights. They never tried to put anybody out of business, Sean. They were never actively out trying to interrupt people, trying to get venues. He was not trying to compete against people with venues. He wasn't doing those type of things. He wasn't losing massive amounts of money and threatening all the boxing and promoters in the country with shutting them down. He was not calling fighters directly because he's a Saudi. He wasn't calling directly other people's fighters over, directly negotiating fights with them right over the top of their promoters and actually bringing them over to networks. We heard what happened with Top Rank and Jared Anderson. That's what Sean Vitale talked about. He said that Turkey Al-Sheikh and those guys reached out directly to Jared Anderson, and that it basically PBC was venue blocking, though. Maybe, I can't speak on it. If they were venue blocking, they may have been venue blocking. I can't speak on that, Fahim. If you say they were venue blocking, I'll take your word for that. I'm not trying to say that the PBC is blameless in anything that they do, but I am going to tell you that they are definitely did not conduct themselves in any way, shape, or form or fashion like Turkey Al-Sheikh has. And I want to posit something to you. I think the order that Sean Vitale laid out was backwards, where he said originally it was a Russian oligarch that tried to come in and do what Al Heyman tried to do, is how he characterized it. Sean, I disagree with that. That's not what he did. Anyway, the specifics of that can be whatever. However, I'm going to tell you, I think those guys were behind it the whole time. And I think that basically what happened was, because what you forgot was that Daniel Kinahan was also involved in it with that Russian oligarch. And when those guys got pushed out, Turkey Al-Sheikh came right in. To me, it just seemed like maybe Turkey Al-Sheikh and those guys were always involved in it. So, I mean, seriously, man, or at least I look at the possibility that they could have been involved with it from the beginning, trying to shut down American boxing and then trying to enter into drive down the market of American boxing. Because DAZN was doing the same thing, putting on American events and losing a bunch of money, paying a bunch of people and losing a bunch of money. They were doing the same thing. The PBC was never in the business of losing massive amounts of money. So that's not the same model. The PBC was making money. They decided to go in there and just lose the money. DAZN, and then DAZN did it again. What's the consistent thing, Sean? The consistent thing is DAZN. They just Kamal Oz says, I see you how quickly the WBO, whatever Bob orders, and Warren Boxing Organization stripped Jermell and Fiendora very fast. They give Tio all kinds of leeway on his mandatory. You know it. Same with other top-ranked fighters. Please tell me about a merger. Yeah, there's not a merger. I don't think there is a merger, but if they work together, I'm cool with that. Hey, here's Kamal back again. What's up, Kamal?
Hey, what's up, Fanon? Just wanted to push back on Fahim. You know, I respect you, Fahim, but you're wrong on the venue blocking. That's fake news. That the corporate media apparatus put out that hit piece against Al Heyman, and the California State Athletic Commission, I don't know if you remember this, Fanon, and the Nevada State Athletic Commission both confirmed that that story was false, and Al Heyman and the PBC were not blocking other venues. That was a hit piece put out by Oscar De La Hoya's owned, at the time, Ring Magazine, when they were engaging in all kinds of dirt and dirty tactics against Al Heyman and the PBC. Just like with the Mayweather IV story, the Nevada, I don't know if you remember that, Fanon, the Nevada
I
State
remember
Athletic
that.
Commission on air talking to Jim Gray said that is false. Mayweather did nothing wrong. Everything he did in camp was 100% approved by us. So again, with all these hit pieces, you know, it makes the news because corporate media and everything controls what you see. But then later on, they have to recant or they're forced to. And just like with the venue blocking, that was a fake news story from corporate media, and it was disproven by the California State Athletic Commission. And so Al Heyman was not, and I didn't read the article, but I will, Fanon, he was not like Turkey because Al wasn't negotiating with other fighters behind their promoters' backs. The one thing he did do when he first came on the move is he said, I'm going to make fights with my fighters. And everybody accused PBC at the time of trying to keep everything in house, which they were okay with Top Rank doing. So Turkey is negotiating, at least with Top Rank and other fighters, he's accused of negotiating behind the promoters' backs, leaving promoters out of the exercise. Al Heyman never did that. He had his PBC primarily for the PBC in-house fighters. Now, when there was a purse bid coming up, when at the beginning of time, Al Heyman it was known that if you go to purse bid, Al Heyman's going to win the purse bid and you're going to make a lot of money. That's why Sergey Kovalev, KKK Kovalev, as I like to call him, I don't know why he's not been deported and all the crimes he committed. That's why he pulled out of that Adonis Stevenson fight, Fanon, because he petitioned Kathy Duckva and Sergey Kovalev petitioned the WBC to make Kovalev Adonis Stevens mandatory. And then they took it to purse bid and they pulled out of their own purse bid because they knew that Al Heyman was going to win the purse bid and that undisputed fight was going to be on Showtime. So again, there's corporate media narratives, and you got it. You really, I know it's hard for you guys because they have such a big microphone and they don't make their retractions or they don't make the real news, the real facts public like they make the hit pieces against Al Heyman and the PBC and the scarlet letter they tried to put on that man. He's nothing like Turkey. Turkey was circumventing people, going directly to fighters. Al never did that. I want you to cook on that, Fanon, without, thank you.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I know you didn't miss too much that time. All right, so yeah, I'm gonna cook on that. Absolutely. And to try to lead into it a little bit with my disagreement with Sean Vitale. No, that you cannot compare those two things. That's not a fair comparison. It's not a fair comparison because the PBC did not have unfair business practices, and that lawsuit was thrown out. And it was thrown out with prejudice, like get out and don't bring it back again. The judges scoffed at what they said because they said that they were using sham promoters. The PBC didn't use sham promoters. They were not trying to take over and put anybody out of business. So no, absolutely not. That was a poor comparison. And to say that basically begin the process of what Turkey Al-Sheikh does by starting it with Al Heyman, no, bro, that is not a fair comparison. Not at all. Because he never stole anybody's fighters. He never swore that he was going to shut down boxing, shut down American boxing, and he never tried to overturn the Ali Act. He never did any of this stuff. He doesn't have a reputation of being petty. He doesn't have a reputation of being vindictive. He does, personally vindictive against fighters. Come on, man. No, he personally flying fighters out to Saudi Arabia to meet with them about making matches without bringing their promoters. Samson Leskovich was like, no, I'm not kissing Turkey's ring. And David Benavidez, salute to him, stayed loyal to Samson Leskovich. So nah, man, I just thought that was very unfair. And also, I don't think that Sean Vitale put enough blame on setting the tone for this on the media. The fact of the matter is the most active participant in this is the media. You guys fawned over DAZN. when the zone first started. And only late, and you never actually went in on that Russian oligarch. You never really did, because he never got enough groundwork to do it. You didn't talk about how he was losing money and all of that stuff. At least I don't know that Sean Vitale did. Maybe he did, but nah, bro. And also talking about the fact that Turki al-Sheikh was seen with that spy and Athletic, the suspected spy, the one in the Athletic. No, man, I did videos about that. It didn't miss the view of the boxing world. I absolutely talked about it. And a lot of people know about it. But no, put some of the blame on the media. The media that started with the stuff that Kamal was talking about. The fact that there's these media pushes to tear down these fighters, to tear down the PBC. And then you had that same weaponization of the media that people have been using for decades and decades and decades that Turki al-Sheikh was able to purchase very easily. Because he knew who you were. All he has to do is buy the Boxing Writers Association of America or a significant chunk of the most influential writers, and then go about buying the media outlets for ridiculous amounts of money. Paid for Michael Benson's Twitter feed, because everybody was looking at Michael Benson. So Turki al-Sheikh, my understanding is, bought the Ring. But the Ring has no money. So how the Ring buy anything? The Ring is owned by Turki. So Turki Michael Benson bought the Ring. Also took, basically, it appears, tried to buy the WBA. And the WBA is no longer on BoxRec. I mean, come on, man. To compare that to Al Heyman is so unfair when you overlook the role of the media in this. If people would see it coming, because all they say is, oh, it was overseen by the boxing world. No, it wasn't talked about by the boxing media. It wasn't not just not known by the boxing world. It was not talked about by the mainstream boxing media. It's not talking about it. It didn't talk. It's just like it's not talking about this very clear connection. So I definitely commend the effort. But look, the editorialization of it is an issue. To place the blame any way, shape, or form on Al Heyman in this matter is ridiculous, because Al Heyman has been the competition of both that Russian oligarch and Turki al-Sheikh. Very obviously, they've been his competition. And they tried to take his model and do something that could counteract his model, which was profitable. And let's not talk about the fact that you guys in the media did not help Al Heyman sell his business idea at all. All you did was talk about him getting sued. You didn't actually compliment him. You didn't call him the Lord of Boxing. You didn't induct him into the Nevada State Athletic Hall of Fame. You didn't do all of that stuff for Al Heyman. You didn't do any of that for Al Heyman. So don't compare Al Heyman to Turki al-Sheikh, especially when you know that what Turki al-Sheikh is suspected of in Saudi Arabia. There's a Turkey wing where at least 10 people. It's a wing of a prison. How are you going to say there's 9 or 10 people there? No, you even conflated the facts. They said that they verified at least 10 and that there is a wing of it named that. They didn't say there were 10 people in the wing. You don't know how many people are in the wing of Turki al-Sheikh's prison. And he's a warlord. Jesus Christ. He works for the Saudi Arabian military. How do you guys not see the man is literally paid by the Saudi Arabian military? He went right from whatever school he was in to the Saudi Arabian military. But you're going to compare that to Al Heyman? Come on, man. Come on, man. I know y'all trying to walk the line, man, but you shouldn't walk the line, bro, on that. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I'm not feeling this bullshit. And I told you niggas about this dude, Turki. And I'm going to keep telling you about this dude, Turki. But y'all ain't going to really say nothing about Turki. But you know why people are going to start talking about Turki louder? Now, Sean Vitale did talk about him earlier. So respect to him. Respect him. I'm not saying he didn't talk about it earlier. Al Heyman, who doesn't even care to be seen. Turkey is egotistical. Look, man, Turkey Al-Sheikh is like basically a plant. That's what he looks like to me. He's planted there to be the face of this movement. The problem is that the guy is a spaz, a vindictive spaz. That's, you know what I mean? Yeah, I think Sean Vitale is cool, people. I ain't got no problem with Sean Vitale. I like Sean Vitale. I do. Don't get what I'm saying wrong. But, you know, at the same time, I'm not even going to say but. At the same time, I like Sean Vitale. At the same time, two reasonable humans that have different jobs can see things different ways. So Sean Vitale is in the media. So it's not typically the job of the media all the time to criticize the media. And also, there's a certain amount of neutrality that you have to have and you have to express in journalism that I don't have to have. I can tell you flat out, bro, look, that's some shady looking shit. Okay? Now, I know that I don't know. So I want to be very clear when I'm telling you what I'm talking about. I don't know what I don't know. I'm not saying what I'm saying is something I know to be true. All I'm telling you is I like to play 6 degrees of separation. I love doing that because if you play 6 degrees of separation, then you can figure out how you can get to people that you need to get to. So when I see that somebody is less than 3 degrees of separation from somebody, they're 1 degree of separation or 2 degrees of separation, I'm sorry, there's concern. And I know that there's Saudi royal family, tens of thousands, Kamal, but when they're talking about the Saudi royal family that they're talking about the upper level ones, the ones that are making decisions. So they're not talking about their second cousins, you know, all of that shit. You know what I mean? I don't think so, at least. That's at least the way that I take it. Alicia Craig said, Fanad, at least you ain't sell out like the other YouTube channels because these people dick riding hard. Of course, because they're getting paid a lot of money to hop up on that pony. They're getting a lot of money to hop up on that pony to eat out that trough. So they're gonna do it, bro. Will Smith not zesty for that movie. What movie? It's like breaking bread with Saddam Hussein. I'm just telling you, I wouldn't do it. I'm just telling you, if I was y'all, and I'm gonna get out of here because I actually have a doctor's appointment I gotta go to. If I was you all, and I'm gonna repeat this, if I was you all, my personal opinion is that if you have any shadiness about your life, you should not go to that event in Times Square because it is an invite-only situation. And the simple fact that you get an invite is going to make somebody look at you like, why are you being invited here by this person? There's a reason. There's a reason you're being invited. And then they're going to try to figure out exactly what the reason is that you've been invited. If I was you, I would reject the invitation. I would sit my ass at home and I would watch that fight on pay-per-view. I would pay the $90. Pay the $90, buy popcorn, get some drink. If it's your thing, get some smoke. But if I was you, that shit's hot as shit. That block is hot as fuck. And I ain't no street nigga, which is why I can tell you this, and I ain't got to worry about that bitch nigga Turkey Al-Sheikh. I tell you every day, and I'm going to say this before I get off. Don't let anything that I said confuse you. When I say fuck Turkey Al-Sheikh, I ain't worried about Turkey Al-Sheikh. But remember what I told you yesterday. Nigga, you ain't me. So if I was you, I would not go. I would stay at home. Stay at home and watch on the pay-per-view. Otherwise, you are definitely. You say favoritism is why, direct involvement or not, the folks who are tied in deep will get theirs eventually. Yeah, you can get yourself one way. Yo, Fanon, my thoughts. Turkey just breathes corruption. His aura seems corrupt. Be ready for Dev at 6 p.m. Eastern. Hey, I think I may call the fight, bro. I may watch the fight and call the fight. I might do that. Fire stick, boys. I might go buy a fire stick. Seriously, man, if I was you niggas, I would stay at home. And anybody, watch this shit, anybody that goes, I would not have a conversation with anybody that goes. Let me give you the last piece of OG advice from a nigga that was going to get employed by putting you niggas in jail. If anybody goes that you know that is there, I would not deal with them ever again in my life. Because again, the only people there are suspects and snitches. So they're going to be a suspect, they're going to be a snitch, or they're going to be a cop. I'm telling you, subject, snitch, or cop. You don't want to deal with a subject. You don't want to be dealing with a suspect. You don't want to be dealing with a snitch, and you damn sure don't want to be dealing with no cops. So I would stay my black ass at home and enjoy that shit on a live stream when you pay for the pay-per-view. Don't even stream the pay-per-view. Put your money down on the pay-per-view. Do not steal the pay-per-view, bro. Don't get nothing for free. I'm trying to tell you. If they give you a DAZN sticker, take that shit off your car, nigga. I ain't playing with none of that. He said, I already deleted numbers who rock with them over there. I'm just telling you, bro, if it was me, I wouldn't talk to these niggas never again in my life, dog, because you smell of either a snitch, a suspect, or a cop. Okay? That's what you look like to me if you're an invite only into Times Square for that bullshit. And with that, I'm out. Deuces. For real, deuces. Deuces. Hell yeah. Use a gift card to pay for that fight, bro.